whoa, whoa, whoa. Easy, Tiger. Better start from the very beginning. Okay, sure. So I bought this cottage, and first I will show you how it was when we just got it. Then we will go through each room in more detail, also showing all what we've done to it. So let's start with a quick tour of how it was when I first got it. So here is this porch, which looks like it's been a chilling area, but really, I would rather chill in my dirty sock than here. Then entering the house, where we are struck with this shabby looking hallway. Then on the right here is this weird room, which hosts a separate cabin with a toilet. Then over here under the floor there's a water well, which supplies the house with the water. On the left here is this little room, which looks like it's being used as a primitive sauna slash wet room, where water was heated in a metal barrel with a wood burner. But to be honest, I feel like I would come out of here dirtier than I was before entering this room. Then this door here leads to the living room, but we will get to it from the other side. Up there is a hatch to the loft, which I will also show later in this video. Then here is the kitchen with a giant wood stove for heating the whole house and cooking food, which I suppose they ate there. Then from the kitchen we are moving into what seems to be a bedroom. Again, with mismatched furniture, crazy wallpaper on the walls, cramped. Then from here, walking into the living room, pretty dingy place. I'm sure it would give depression even to the most positive person in the world. And at this point you would say, what have you done, girl? It's definitely not a good thing if all you want to do is get the hell out of there. But you should see my previous property. It was million times worse. So yes, I got this place because I saw the potential. It can be made awesome. But if you still have doubts, let's just go back and I will show you. Now we will go through each room in more detail, showing all what we've done to them. And just to know that even though we were doing improvements in all rooms simultaneously, to give this video some kind of an order, we will just showcase all what we've done to each room separately, starting with the bedroom first, since it was the first room I wanted to tackle, as I was doing a lot of work at the property and it would be easier to stay over. So the first step was to go through everything, see what I want to keep and what needs to go. This wallpaper was left by the previous owners. It's 100% recycled, and because I am into reusing old as much as possible, I wanted to give these a go because the existing wallpaper definitely had to come off. Then they had this bed, which at the first glimpse seemed like a good bed, but to be honest, I'm not keen on sleeping in a bed where someone else had slept in. So it definitely had to go. As well as this bulky wardrobe, which was taking up a whole room, but certainly wanted to keep this mirror. Table is nice. These are pretty random. What's in there? Whoa, tablets and things. Yes, this was the most overwhelming part of the process. Never mind all that shabby furniture. It all had tons of stuff in it, which I had to sort out as I didn't just want to throw everything in a skip ruthlessly. Whatever was still useful, I wanted to donate to people in need. Also, it had an outdated, dangerous electrical wiring from old Soviet times, so the house needed rewiring as well. But this is gross. What is this, like a hanging thing? Oh my god, lordy, look. Then this thing. Oh my god, it's not moving, so it needs to come out. Then check this madness out. Okay, so this is made of bricks and tiles around. This gets warm when you heat this thing in the kitchen. And Jesus, look. The man, he had the golden hands, but I mean, every single corner is occupied. So like a little cupboard. Crazy. And here as well. Yeah, cupboard. Little cupboard just there. Wow. A secret cupboard. Once I had some kind of clarity what I want to do in this room, the works began, starting with removing this giant wardrobe, which instantly opened up the space. Also, to make this room lighter, I decided to paint the ceiling white. Yeah, we didn't feel the need to change the ceiling panels, although not perfect, they were still right. Then it was time to address the walls. And here I was, upcycling the wallpaper that was left, gluing it on the walls like I had done it before, man. Well, I gotta say, not what I would go for if I was going to choose the wallpaper from the store, but it's incredible what a lick of paint can do. And yes, white can feel a bit clinical, but for what I had in mind, white will be a perfect background. Now that that was done, it was time to make my first DIY bed. After I built the main frame, I had a crazy idea. Like I've got millions of these. What do you reckon? I know it's crazy, but it's stable. I'll show you. The mattress is on. This is repainted. This is another piece of furniture that was here, which I am keeping. It's cool. First I've done it like this, then changed my mind and repainted in the same color as the bed. Then I thought a floor lamp would be cool, and of course, I again opted to make one myself, using offcuts from the bed build, and voila! Yes, it's different, but that's the point of doing it yourself. It's one-off piece which you have created from nowhere else but your own imagination. It's so much fun. Now see this madness. I couldn't do anything with it at that time because it was part of that giant old wood stove in the kitchen, which needed to be knocked down first. Also, because of the dust which will come from the demolition works, the rebuild of this door also had to be put on hold. But as I said, for the sake of keeping this video in the order, I will try to show you everything in one go. So the next what I've done was I painted this giant painting, which I liked, but it didn't have the right vibe. It was too busy for a bedroom. I wanted something calming, something that reminds me why sleep is also important, helping mind to rewind and heal itself, which in turn helps to achieve yin and yang. But cats are also very spiritual animals, which resonates with my spirit very well. Then this old lamp definitely needed to go, which I replaced with this handmade deco. Let's call it a chandelier, but it's not connected to electrics, it's just hanging there for fun. And see that tall shelf on the left? I also built that. At that time, I was proper obsessed with creating things. I couldn't stop. And so I painted another one for this wall. but it's still work in progress. If I do anything new to it, you will definitely get to see that on my second channel called Totally Mad Expressionist, where I'm posting everything that I do as a full-time free spirit and artist, making art, upcycling, recycling, DIY projects, using natural materials as much as possible, anything creative, improving spaces that I have. If you want to check that channel out, the link is in the description. Meanwhile, a good few months had passed when we finally had demolished the old and built a brand new wood stove in the kitchen. And now this madness could come down, which was replaced by a brand new wall. And I am proud to say that these planks were upcycled from the material that I found in one of my outbuildings. Also, a new bedroom door was built at this point, but I will show you how we built the door as well as the wall when we move on to the kitchen part, because that footage will show the new wood stove being already done, but we want to keep the surprise factor alive, don't we? And so this was it. The bedroom was finally completed, and I couldn't be more happier how it turned out. From such a claustrophobic, dingy space into a bright, airy, and colorful. And one more glimpse of how it was before and now. Comment what do you think, guys? Let's move now to the kitchen. So the kitchen, seeing it for the first time, I was like, gosh, where do you even start? Also, this quite frightening looking wood stove took up half of the space. One good thing though, the water was connected to the house. Although, what was this all about under the sink? And the electrics directly under? And just look at this. Pretty crazy, isn't it? So the electrics will need changing, that's for sure. Then sorting out which units we want to keep, but also having to empty them first, sorting out what's good, what's not. It was pretty time-consuming and exhausting thing, but the worst was yet to come. So it was time to begin on the most dreaded part of this whole renovation. Starting nice and slowly, trying to save as many bricks as possible to be reused into the new build. Felt like it was actually going well, smoothly removing brick by brick, not triggering too much dust. But that didn't last long. We never had seen anything like this before. Different kind of stuff like bricks, metal sheets, random pieces of iron, and what else were either nailed, welded, or cemented to one another. To dismantle this beast turned out to be the biggest challenge to date. But through enormous amount of dust and sweat, we were getting closer to the finishing line. But I had to admit that living on the building site probably wasn't the best idea. To keep the other rooms clean-ish took a lot of effort, especially the bedroom, which at that point was almost done up nicely. And this is how it is. And this is how we're gonna leave it, because this one is a great foundation. It's all cemented, and also these bricks, it's a very strong and stable structure. like a base structure already. This will be the base of the wall, which will heat my bedroom. And then this one will be the base for the wall, which will heat my lounge. Then here, it would be where the new wood burner would be, you know, up to here only. And I will have so much space in the kitchen. Look, everything is gone. And then, of course, I will need to think what to do with this ceiling, but this is the least worry for me. Whatever, it can stay for a while like this until I come up with something. Yeah, and this is the chimney. Nice brickwork. It was covered with wood, covered up, but I just love the brickwork. And so it needs cleaning. Chimney is full with this black thing, you know, like black dust. How do you call this? And then they had made holes in a chimney there and there as well for this crazy ventilation system which was there previously. And of course the electrical wires hanging all over the place, God knows where they're coming from. Here's some more wires here going right up in the ceiling, behind the ceiling. And there's some more electrical wires. And this switch I can still use to switch the light in the kitchen off and on. And the walls, that's it, no more walls. There is just this thing. And it's not supporting the ceiling, I think. I don't think so. It's just like a flat plank, that's it, just to hold the door frame in place. The same here, there's just this wall here and then the doorway to my bedroom. But just as I thought that the worst part was over, we needed to clean off the old clay and cement of the old base in order to make a clean, smooth foundation for the new wood stove to be built on. Everything from top to bottom was covered with this white, powder-like dust. Everything. Every single thing was covered with dust from all that grinding which we just couldn't avoid in order to start works on building a brand new wood stove. Anyways, after spending a whole day on cleaning everything, I can finally show you what's left of the old wood stove, which will be the base for the new foundations. I also got rid of that crazy cupboard, which had no other purpose than storing more junk. I will think how I want to use that space and show you later in this video. And yeah, finally the works on the new wood stove could start. Reusing as much bricks from the old stove as possible, but that also involving more grinding, yes, to clean them, adjust them to the right shape and size. To speed up the build, we decided to mix it up with the new bricks. Then either with new or old bricks, they still need to be cut in the right sizes. Also, once they have been cut, they then need to sit in a water bath for a while, which stops them from cracking once they are built. Now that most of the dusty work had been finished, I finally wanted to address the rest of the kitchen. But where do I start, man? Where do I start? Look at all this. But I gotta start. First, I needed to get rid of the remaining old stuff, including this cooker. I will definitely keep these cupboards, but I will repaint them as well as the walls. They just need brightening up. So I took a photo and started to play with different colors and shapes digitally until I came up with this one. It just felt like this was it. Oh my God. Really? Sticking to the design, I just had to paint these red too. Then, as in the design, these walls needed to become white. Whilst the paint was drying, I wanted to cook up a quick, simple breakfast table. First, I wanted to build a proper breakfast bar to seat 4 people, but because the kitchen is so small, that would take up a lot of space. So I opted for this size instead. Meanwhile, the works on the wood stove continued, and it was thus far at this point. So yes, a lot of work has already gone in, but much more work still to be done. We are not professionals, we are just studying the YouTube school as we go. You know how to do this and that videos. I'm sure, with patience and dedication, this will be the best wood stove in the world. Whilst my friend continued to work on the stove, I was doing my bits, but not only working on the deco and artwork, but also but the major focus really was on getting this wood stove built as soon as possible because the winter was approaching. But as I said before, many bricks needed to be grinded to the right size, plus only 3 layers could be built at one sitting because as the clay dries, bricks tend to move, eventually putting themselves in the permanent position, which then provides a safe, stable space for the next 3 layers to go on. And so this process had to be repeated on and on and on until one day the bricks will reach all the way up to the ceiling. Or will they? Here's how far it is. The door's gone in. That's the one recycled from the old stove. Then see, the white bricks inside the firebox and the smoke passage are the best ones when it comes to the exposure to a direct fire. So they will line the wood stove from inside, whereas the red ones, which are also very good quality fire-resistant bricks, will be used to build the rest. Also this side, guys, did you see what I've done? And yeah, I will be just keeping firewood in this corner so that I don't have to walk every day to the shed to get more firewood. Days of hard labor turned into weeks. But at this point, we could already see the light at the end of the tunnel. We are almost there. We are about to put the top on. Actually, this top, we are saving the old top. And it will go on here and I will use it until it breaks completely. But otherwise, why would I spend money now on something which I already have? Okay, it doesn't look perfect, right? But Well, who cares? It's an old cottage. It's cottage life. This is the bed, the firebox, and the hole. You can see that's going to the smoke passageways, and then the smoke would go that way, then a bit higher that way, then that way, and into the chimney. The hole is already there. It's a masterpiece, but soon won't be able to see the kitchen. Damn. Okay. See all the gaps and things. And then there was this old sliding door in between, but it's not sliding. It's not sliding anymore. It's stuck. So firstly, I started to construct the actual door frame, as all measurements were all over the place. I had to make it straight as well as strong enough to hold the door. I attached the wooden poles on each side, then to cover that up nicely I screwed on some strong planks. This is also where the hinges will sit on, but also they visually look appealing. I've done the same on the top and on the other side. Then I had to make the door, but instead of doing the way I initially thought I would do, which was just to hang a piece of plywood on hinges, I decided to do it properly, making a supportive wooden frame first, so that it would withstand the weight of the mirror, but also wouldn't bend with the time. Then it was the moment of truth, to attach the hinges and see if it all fits and works. Although with this project I really had to be very precise and measure and remeasure everything a million times, so I was kind of certain that it will fit. Instead of buying new hinges, I had these laying around since when I had the farm, as they were bought to fix all the doors there. As this project took me more than 3 days to accomplish, were most of the time being taken up by intense measuring and cutting all the wooden pieces by hand, you can just imagine my joy when it all was finally coming together. Then on one side of the frame, instead of the plywood, I actually used pressed cardboard, the reason being keeping the door as light as possible. But as I kept screwing pieces onto the door, with each piece adding more weight, putting more pressure on hinges and the frame, I had to come up with something even lighter for the other side. In the end, I decided to use this plastic sheet, which I had bought to replace the missing glass panels in my greenhouses. I know, it's something totally bonkers and pretty out there, but that's exactly what I'm aiming for. Create something that nobody else has. And you can see the actual door structure behind it. But what I like the most is that this material reflects light and colors, making the door change in appearance every time it's exposed to different lighting and items in the room. Now it was time to put the mirror up and see how it looks. Then, again, instead of rushing to shops buy some fancy-schmancy door handles, I had a good look around in the barn and found these, which I cleaned and adjusted a bit, and man, aren't they just simply ridiculous. Then, because I haven't figured out how exactly I will keep this door shut when it's needed, a doorstep could do the job for now, and this is it, the door is ready. Although there's one more thing I want to add to it. Meanwhile, the brick wall was almost done, as well as the iron top had gone in, which we saved and reused from the old wood stove. Same with the rings. I just needed to give them a good facial. Once the rings were cleaned and washed, I put them on, and suddenly the stove became alive. It isn't fully completed yet. See, there will be bricks going all the way up to the ceiling from the other side, closing the gap. But that will be put on hold until weather gets warmer, as the outdoor workspace which my friend was using for grinding the bricks due to the freezing temperatures had become unsuitable. Otherwise, hey, the stove is done and ready for the action. And so, now that we have the wood stove fixed, I want to make the wall. Can you believe it? I've got a wood stove in my bedroom. So yeah, this wall is gonna be interesting one to make, because look, see, the wood stove is coming out. Now I'm sitting on my bed now, and the stove is right in the bedroom, see? And I need to make the wall just right by the door frame, see? Otherwise there's no more space. But then look up there. Oh, it's probably not easy to see, but it's like angled. It's not straight, but it's angled. So see, I need to make this extension out, and then like this. Ta-da! Oh my god, this is so funny. This is so funny. Let me show you. So I opened this door. Snoopy, hello. It's a living room mess. And yeah, and so here it is. My bedroom slash master chef kitchen. See? But then the wall would cover this, and it would look alright, like a proper bedroom. Kind of like this open plan, but then if I kept open plan, then I would need to redesign. Say, take this out and have like an open plan kitchen living room. But I don't want to do that, because see, this room is dark. Most of the daylight and all the sunshine is in that one where I'm already currently planning my living room. I just know it's not going to work for me. So I couldn't be more pleased for having found these beautiful planks in a barn. Anyways, I really wanted to get rid of the remaining plastic which is still in the living room, covering those gaps by the wood stove. So I just stuck the remaining bricks up on the top to close the gap from the kitchen to here. Then to close this vertical gap, I just used offcuts from my previous projects, including this transparent material which lets light through from the kitchen to living room and the other way around. I know it's different, but I like it. But I didn't have enough of it to make it all the way, but that's why guitars are for, and nobody would ever know. Meanwhile, I was also working on this project, which wasn't finished yet. So I kinda wanted to follow the initial idea, which was that it would be like a mirror frame. This design was just for a reference, as the plan was to follow the feeling, follow the natural flow of the brush, and have fun with it. Now that this was off my mind, I could finally address another irritating matter. 4 legs of 90, and then I need. And here it is, guys. I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah, I know it's like over the top for the old cottage, but you gotta have some kind of luxury, right? It works, man. And yeah, this is the pipe connection, what we have, the new one going on. Look at that! When was the last time I cleaned these windows? Shame. Shame on you, girl. And finally, I could say that the most of what I wanted to do here has been completed. Still, bits and bobs need attention, but that's something that can wait until I get inspired. But you gotta admit that the transformation for this room is incredible. From dark and dingy to light and inspiring to warm and welcoming. What an improvement! From a place you rather want to run away into a place where you want to spend time in. Comment what you think, guys. Do you like it? And what would you do differently? Okay, now the room which I had been off-putting for ages. The living room, which was like this when I first got it. Yes, a very sad-looking place. But when you think it was someone's beloved home, a safe, comforting room where to rewind after a hard day at work, a place where they made happy memories. But in this state as it was, it could definitely not make any other memories for me than those being in a house of horror. It felt even more overwhelming having the wood burner building works in place, producing tons of dust day in, day out. So I just kind of kept my eyes closed, pretending that it's alright and, all that, but it didn't last long. As being someone who goes by the feeling, I just could not cope with the presence of the energy that radiated from this old furniture and stuff. Okay, so now I'm demolishing this thing, and behind there's a wall without a wallpaper, and also it's gonna be looking very ugly because of these, the radiators being put in, and they have pipes running all the way behind this structure up to there into the floor. And that's why actually I've been postponing to do the living room, because these are the major things. The pipes are still full with water. And yeah, when I try to get the water out through there, see, there's like a little pipe. And when I open this to let the water out there, it doesn't come out there. It comes out, somewhere here by the wood burner. There are the pipes which go underneath the floorboards, go up to the right into the kitchen, and so that's how they heated the house before. There I had removed that cupboard, revealing the pipe madness behind it. Rah! At this point, the wood burner was done, and I could finally take that plastic off and start thinking and planning what I want to do in this room. Until now, I had got rid of all that old furniture, replacing it with my own. But if I was to spend some time here, I knew I just couldn't live with this dingy wallpaper any longer. So off we came, revealing the situation of the walls, which overall weren't that bad at all. In some places there was some damage due to past leaks, but the roof's been fixed now, so we should be alright now.
We should be alright.
When the new wallpaper started to go up, I instantly felt a completely different feel to it. And with such a simple solution, also I always wanted to get rid of those ugly heaters. So I finally did, leaving so much room, a clean, open space, which I then can fill in with anything I wish. It was great to sit down and admire the work. But I wasn't done yet, as the windows needed new curtain poles, and as this particular project was called
$0 makeover.
by recycling what I already had, I needed to find some thin baby trees with the trunks as straight as possible. And as I needed to thin out my woodland area, this was the perfect place where to look for them. Once I had found one for each window, it was the matter of making little grooves so that it would fit in the hooks. Then a simple solution to secure the hooks on the walls, and voila! It looks original, a bit rustic, but that's a country living for you and me. Well, I don't know about you, but for me, certainly. And with that, the living room was finally done. Comment what you think, guys. Do you like it, and what would you do differently? But yeah, from such a creepy place into something so bright and airy, lots of space, clean, simple, light. You can almost feel the air's been lifted, whereas before the room felt heavy and pretty depressing. And one more glimpse of how it was before and now. And remember, this was the old brick wall that I had. It was crumbling with lots of gaps and dodgy openings, whereas now it's safe to use for years to come, plus it looks amazing. We still haven't done the top, but that's not affecting the performance as it's not structural. It can stay like that until we feel like doing it. Okay, moving on to the bathroom. More like a wet room with a water well underneath the floor, which brings water into the house with the help of an electric water pump. Then here's a little toilet room, but yes, this is another room which is crammed to the very extent with all these crazy structures built from random old furniture bits. What? I mean, really? There was only one solution. The more I cleared out, the more damage I discovered. So, to see the clear picture, there was only one option. Oh, 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 oh. Wow. Okay. Okay. Now that the space was cleared out, we could put the water pump in place. But this is just a temporary system as you can see, this room is in a desperate need of repair. Everything, starting from the ceiling, walls, floor, and also this side where the toilet is, needs to be ripped out. As well as here. Wow, madness. Oh my god, that's how many kilograms? Snoopy, 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 breakfast! Is your breakfast in the wall? So initially I was going to make this room into my new bathroom with the new walls, new floor, new shower cabin, toilet. But because my thoughts about this property have since changed, namely I'm not seeing it as my forever home, I don't want to spend any more money on it. And I know you would say, well, clearly if you done up a bathroom, it would increase the value of the property. No, this is not the case in this part of the world. People around here will not pay a penny more for what it is worth on the paper. Another question you may ask, where the hell do I shower when I'm here? Well, I can show you exactly. It's okay for now. We're gonna shampoo the hair. Plus, I have a little flat in town with all the modern day comforts, so don't you worry, I'm clean. Oh my god, there has been a leak or dampness, a tube going out to the houses for watering the garden, so I guess because of this moisture, that's why it's all wet here on this side. But also could be because of this tree, see, it's right by the house. I'm very glad I started to rip everything off so I can see where the wet patch is. So it clearly was this bush, so I wanted to investigate. As I cut off the branches, I could finally see the roots, which to my surprise were giant, some even size of my arm, and had grown deep into the ground. After removing most of them, I needed to make sure that the remaining and hidden ones won't produce any more damage, so I sprinkled all that patch with the salt. Shame they have left it so far. Look how nice these planks are. Absolutely amazing. After peeling off what came off, I just filled in the gaps and left this wall to dry out. Again, there's a lot to do if I was going to do this place up, but as I said, I don't want to spend any more on this property. And for the time being, as my summer house, it will be fine as it is. So I just cleaned it, put some mirrors up, which always helps. By the way, these both mirrors are rescued from here. This one was on the wall in what currently is my bedroom, and this one was the door of this wardrobe. Isn't that incredible? Okay, the next room is which supposed to be a sauna room, but it's far away from being glamorous. It's really old-fashioned, really, and this feature here, this is really scary actually. So it's got wooden floors. I don't know where the water goes. There is no like a drainage system, just gaps around, you know, which is not ideal. God knows where the water goes. Anyways, there is some wood left, and yeah, there is where the wood would go just down here. Oh, hello. And then it would heat the, I don't know if the water is there or if the water is there. And then see, he's got his system. There's like cold water, warm water, and then he's got the shower head. Look, it looks like a 1920s telephone. There is like a little window you can open and air the room. And this thing, it would come down, and then he could climb here higher up, sit higher up, and little stool where he put his feet on. Yeah, so it feels like you would come out of this room dirtier than before you entered it. So no, I wasn't going to use it for anything other than storing stuff like tins of paints, supplies, toilet paper, where else. As a storage, it does a good job. And last but not least, is the loft, which stretches above all the ground floor. Again, it could be another great living space with big side windows, making it light and airy, used as a master bedroom, main living room, or an art studio, but it is not even insulated to start with, so to do it up would cost thousands. Therefore, for now, it will stay as a cool vision inside my head. Okay, we have now seen the whole inside of the house, but there are also changes that I made to it from outside, like this wall and roof. See this climbing plant on the wall? As beautiful as it is, it was making a lot of damage, growing through the roof panels, breaking them. First of all, producing more and more leaks, as well as keeping so much moisture in the roof panels, making moss grow on the roof, which in turn traps all the dirt and leaves and what else, keeping that affected area damp forever, which doesn't do any favor to the house. On the other hand, its roots were breaking into the foundation, as this vine had been planted right by the house, and this was the main problem. So we needed to get rid of it as soon as possible. Also, we needed to clean the roof panels so that they can dry out finally. Plus, we had to fix all the leaks from inside, from outside, which was a pain in the neck, I tell you. So he managed to get on that side of the chimney, and then he just moved slowly, bit by bit, up to the very edge of the house, and then just walked down all the way and just patching up with the silicone, with a special silicone which hardens and it's weatherproof, and yeah, that should do a trick. Yeah, the roof will be all right for, I would say, definitely for another 2 years now. Now, this property also comes with many outbuildings like sheds, cellar, tractor garage, as well as has 2 greenhouses. where in this one I plant some edibles, but the second one being my summer wet room as you saw before. Then I just gotta show you this one, which used to be used as a garage where they were fixing cars, but I'm not a mechanic, man, and so I cleared it out and made it into my countryside art studio, which I use it in summer. These are clips from the videos that I made for my second channel. You can find the link to it in the description. Really nice, no? Perfect. But yes, it's a great, peaceful space. I like it. And I like this whole property in general. It has such a good vibe. And the main thing, it allows me to live this simple lifestyle, being outdoors as much as possible, which I absolutely adore. And I have done a lot to the outdoor spaces as well, like planting trees, making sculptures out of natural materials. Currently, I'm doing up this front yard slash chill out area, building a DIY privacy screen, and we'll be redoing the sitting area, making a fire pit, which all will be captured and posted on my second channel. Because I have decided that this channel I want to keep more for naturism, van life, and travels, which started as that which I created at time when I didn't have a property. Saying that, I can't separate myself from who I am. As much as I love naturism, van life, and traveling, I also love spending time in the countryside, doing my projects. Therefore, in the upcoming videos, you will see some footage from here as well. But otherwise, guys, this is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give us some big likes if you did. And definitely comment which room was your favorite, but also, what would you do differently?